Yes. Coming to the memory. The memory unit is very essential component in any digital computer. The memory unit is very essential component. Why it is essential component? To store the programs, to store the data, as well as to run the computer, we need a program. Where we can store that program? In the memory itself. Okay, so that's why the memory is a very essential component. Now, a very small computer with a limited application, okay, a very small computer with a limited application may be able to fulfill the task without the need of additional memory. If suppose the computer is small and the application executed by the computer is very small application, suppose for example, if you consider an Arduino is doing very small applications, and for that there is no need of the physical memory existed. Whatever the applications you are running at that time you please store into that particular memory. That means whatever the chip available on that physical existed on the Arduino board. If suppose you want to do LED program, please store that LED program in that chip and you will execute application. That is the application of the Arduino, one of the small application. Like that, if you want to execute only small applications, that physical memory which is existed on the chip is enough. If I want to go with several applications, suppose it is general purpose computers. To run the general purpose computers effectively, we have to add external memory. Okay, to run the general purpose computers effectively, please add external memory. Without the external memory, if you want to run the programs parallelly, if I want to perform the number of applications parallelly at a time, I want to execute number of applications, then there is a need to connect the external memory. So now the memory which is connected to the CPU, the memory which is physically connected with the CPU is called main memory, and the memory which is used to store backup, that is called auxiliary memory. We are having different types of memory. First we are looking at the main memory. The main memory which is directly connected to CPU, that is also called physical memory, because it is existed within the within the circuit on the computer. On the computer the memory is directly connected to the CPU, that is physically existed on the computer that is called main memory. And and the memory which is used for backup storage, that is called auxiliary memory. That auxiliary memory is made with magnetic disks or tapes. Definitely the auxiliary memory is used for the backup storage, and that backup storage contains maybe programs, large data files. Okay, which data is not important at this time. Suppose if you are executing a program, and for that program whatever the data needed, that is stored in the main memory. Whatever the data is not needed for a particular program, please store in the auxiliary memory. Clear? That was the difference about main memory and auxiliary memory. Auxiliary memory is used to store backup. Auxiliary memory is acts as a backup. The current running application in the computer must be stored in the main memory. That was the difference between auxiliary memory and main memory. And main memory is directly connected to the CPU, but auxiliary memory is not connected directly with the CPU. Now coming to the one more third type of the memory, which is cache memory. Cache memory is a very high speed memory. Cache memory is a very high speed memory. Why I am going to this cache memory is, why I am going to use this cache memories to increase the speed of processing. Okay, to increase the speed of processing, I am connecting cache memory, and this compensate the speed of execution by the processor. Suppose if the processor is executing the program in very fast manner, okay, in a very fast manner, if suppose processor is executing with that speed of the processor, if the main memory is not able to provide the data required for the processor, then that speed difference will be compensated by this cache memory. For example, as a teacher, if I am saying in very high speed manner, then as a student you are not able to understand. Okay, I have to match the speed between you and me, then only you are able to understand what I am saying. Okay, if I am talking in very speed manner which is not understand by you, that is not the good teaching. I have to match the understanding capability and speed of the students with mine. Okay, then only you are able to understand what I am saying. In the same way, if processor is executing the programs in a very speed manner, but whatever the memory existed in physically on the computer, that memory is not able to provide. That memory is not able to provide in such a speed which is matching with the processor, then we are going to use this cache memory. Clear? To compensate the speed difference between main memory access time and processor logic, we are going to use this cache memory, and this is very high speed memory. Okay, yes, the cache is used to store programs currently executed in the CPU and also temporary data. Okay, based upon the application, whatever the programs currently executed by the computer, those programs and data should be stored in the cache, and the processor frequently accessing whatever the data frequently accessed by the processor, that should be stored in the cache. Whatever the data I felt is very important. Whatever the data or program which I felt is very important, that data and program must be stored in the cache memory. Clear? So what is this IO processor? IO processor is nothing but this processor can do the data transfer between auxiliary memory and main memory, because auxiliary memory is not physically connected to the computer. IO processor is the communication device between auxiliary memory and main memory. Coming to the cache organization, data transfer between main memory and CPU. What is the need of the cache? If the main memory is not providing the data as much of the processor speed, if it is not matching the speed of the processor, then we are going for the cache. Cache acts as an intermediate between main memory and processor. It accesses the data from the main memory, and it provides the data data as a high speed to the processor. Okay, now coming to the memory connection with the CPU. How the memories, that is cache memory, main memory, auxiliary memory, is connected with the CPU like this. What can I say? Already I said that IO processor is used to access the data available in the auxiliary memory, and the auxiliary memory is made with the magnetic tapes and disks. Clear? Auxiliary memory is made with magnetic tapes and disks. From this auxiliary memory, we need to connect IO processor. This IO processor is used to transfer the data from auxiliary memory to the main memory, and between main memory and CPU there exists cache memory, which makes the data accessing from main memory to the CPU in a very fast manner to match the speed of the execution by the processor. Clear? This was the memories whatever available or connected to the CPU. Okay, and the only programs which are very important are located in the main memory by accessing by the cache memory. Cache memory is used to access the data between main memory and CPU, and very frequently used data must be stored in the main memory. This was the memory hierarchy. What is meant by memory hierarchy? That means memory hierarchy is nothing but if you are flowing from top to bottom, then speed will decrease. The speed of accessing the data from these memories are decreasing. CPU registers are internally connected to the CPU directly. So that's why the data accessing from the registers is very fast well compared to the cache memories. Okay, the fastest data accessing is provided by the registers. If more number of registers are available, then we can access the data to the processor in a high speed manner. Coming to the cache memory. Cache memory is the next memory which is having very high speed of data accessing, and it provides the data to the processor in a very high speed. Here It clearly demonstrates increased capacity and access time. That means first registers cache memory or having highest memory, highest speed of accessing data, and if we are going top to bottom, then the speed of, then the time is increasing. In the same way, if we want to build this memory, cost is also increasing. That means which memory is having highest speed of accessing data, that require more cost. Obviously they require more cost. Clear? Generally cache memory will be built by using SRAMs, main memory by DRAMs. This magnetic disk, optical disk, magnetic tapes are called auxiliary memory. Clear? That was the memory hierarchy. Top to bottom indicates speed will reduce. Okay, this increment cost will increase from bottom to top. That was the memory hierarchy. Yes, coming to the multi-programming. When I want to execute number of applications parallelly, then by using different memories, if suppose there will be ADC, there will be DSC, two and one more application LED blinking. If I want to perform 3 number of tasks at a time parallelly, one task will be saved in cache memory, one task will saved in auxiliary memory. Like that refers to the existence of 2 or more programs in different parts of the memory hierarchy at the same time. Clear? That was the multi-programming. Refers to existence of 2 or more programs in different parts of the memory hierarchy. In the memory hierarchy, we are having different types of memory, 2 or more tasks. If I want to execute 2 or more applications at a time, please save those programs related to the applications in different parts of the memories. Okay. What is meant by multi-programming? To process the independent programmings concurrently is called multi-programming. That indicates we are executing the number of applications at a time if those applications are saved in different memories. Okay, clear all of you? Now coming to the Bootstrap loader. Before going to the Bootstrap loader, why we are naming convention is, generally we are having main memory. Okay, first we will discuss what is main memory. The next discussion is on main memory. Main memory can be built by using semiconductor integrated chips, and these chips are made by using flip-flops. Okay, generally memory will be made by using flip-flops. You know that flip-flops are used for 1-bit storage. If you connect all the flip-flops together in an integrated circuit, then it will result main memory. Okay, the accessing of the flip-flops is very, very fast. So that's why we will build the main memory with the flip-flops, and these flip-flops are all integrated in one chip. Those chip is called main memory. Coming to the types of the memory, in the main memory we are having 2 types. Coming to the types of the memory, in the main memory we are having 2 types. You all are know that 2 types. Basically memory is divided into random access memory, which is RAM, and one more is read only memory, which is ROM. Okay, you all know that RAM is nothing but, what is random access memory is volatile memory. What is meant by volatile? Volatile is nothing but it should be, we are able to change the data which is available in the RAM. Clear? Random access memory is nothing but it is volatile. Volatile is nothing but we are able to change whatever the data existed in the RAM. While coming to the ROM, it is read-only memory. It is called non-volatile memory. ROM is used to save, read-only memory is used to store operating system contents. Operating system is nothing but, the operating system is very, very useful. After the, if you turn on the system, then automatically What is meant by operating system? If I want to open the Word file, if I want to enter some document, some data in the Word file, to save the Word file, all these processes, whatever you are doing in your computer, that should be carried out. The base is the operating system, whether it is Linux, Android. Your phone is having Android operating system. Okay, in the olden days, if you consider your phone is not having Android, if Android is not there, then only some certain applications are only operated by the phone. Why? Because the OS is not supported in the phone. If OS is there, if Android OS is there in the mobile, then so many applications we can download and we can run. That means based upon the OS, we can do any type of the applications. So basically, read-only memory is used to store OS, operating system. Clear? RAM is nothing but volatile, and in the RAM, two more types are there. In the RAM, two more types are there, which is SRAM, one more is DRAM. SRAM is nothing but static RAM. SRAM is nothing but static RAM. DRAM is nothing but dynamic RAM. Here also, SRAM can be built by using flip-flops. Static RAM can be built by using flip-flops. Coming to the DRAM, DRAM will be built by using capacitors. Okay, capacitor C. Why? SRAM is nothing but static RAM. Generally, we don't want to erase this data available in SRAM. SRAM, whatever the important data, whatever the important programs are there executed by the computer, those will come under SRAM. And coming to this DRAM, dynamic RAM, will be implemented by the capacitors. What is the principle of the capacitor? Principle of the capacitor is it is used to store the data. When voltage applied to the capacitor, it will be charged. Based upon the charging phenomena in the capacitor, the data will be stored. When computer turn on, okay, when computer turn on, automatically voltage will be supplied to these capacitors. Due to the voltage supplied to the capacitor, the data will be saved in the capacitor in terms of charge storage. Okay, so if you power off the computer, automatically the capacitor will discharge, the data will be erased in the DRAMs. That was about main memory. Clear all of you? These all points you all are aware. So that's why I didn't kept any slide here. Clear all of you? Now coming to this bootstrap loader. What is meant by bootstrap loader? Generally, if you turn on the computer, operating system will comes into picture, which is used to carry out all the operations, whatever you are performing in the computer. Operating system is the base. After the system turn on, operating system is not ready to do all the programs. Before operating system starts, there will be a bootstrap loader. Bootstrap loader is nothing but before the operating system is ready to take the control of the CPU, that means computer, bootstrap loader will make operating system ready. Okay, bootstrap loader is nothing but computer operations are carried out by operating system. You all are know. Initially, after power on, some portions of OS is loaded into bootstrap loader. Okay, initially after power on, some portion of OS, that means okay, bootstrap loader is used to make operating system ready. That means before operating system ready, it will make operating system ready to take over the control. Okay, if our HOD is not there, then our coordinator will take place the control of the all actions in our department. That means bootstrap loader is also some of the part of the operating system. It make operating system work on, and after this operating system is ready to take the control, automatically the program control is transferred to the OS. That is the bootstrap loader. That is the work of the bootstrap loader. Initially after power on, some portion of OS is loaded into the bootstrap loader. It is used to start the computer initially. After OS is ready to take the control, automatically the bootstrap loader will transfer the OS control into the boot into the operating system. That means OS is now ready to take the control of the computer. Okay, that is the bootstrap loader. Now coming to the, yes, this was the random access memory. These are the general structure. This is the general structure of the RAM. Okay, in this computer we are having random access memory and read-only memory. Both type of memories are available in the computer. If I want to check, if I want to select only RAM, that is by using this chip select one, I'll select the RAM. Okay, typical RAM chip construction. Here we are having two types of chips, chip select one, chip select two. This CST is used to select read-only memory. Okay, read-only memory. Here, this is the table, functional table. If suppose chip select 1 is 1 and read is 0, write is 0, okay, clear. There will be high impedance. Okay, what is meant by high impedance? Here, what is meant by high impedance? High impedance is nothing but open circuit. Here, there will be no operation is carried out. Clear? Here, there will be no operation carried out. If I want to perform write operation, read operation, automatically please make here what happened, read write both are 0, so that's why there is no operation. If chip select 1 is 1 and automatically read or write is 1, then only read operation, write operation will take place. You know that reading is nothing but taking the data from the memory, writing is nothing but writing the data, inputting the data to the memory. Okay, now coming to this address map, will you after the completion of this diagram, you will understand this clearly. Please see this diagram. Okay, how can you select the particular RAM chip or ROM chip? By using this diagram, we will select. Okay, first, if you see this table, please see this RAM 1, RAM 2, RAM 3, RAM 4. To select this particular RAM among the 4 chips available, I am using 8 9 bits. See here 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1, 8 9 bits. If 0 0, then RAM 1 selected, 0 1 RAM 2 selected, 1 0 RAM 3 selected, 1 1 RAM 4 selected. See here 8 9 bits are acts as the inputs to the decoder. You know the decoder operation. If 0 0 RAM 1 selected, if 0 1 RAM 2 selected, if 1 0 RAM 3 selected, if 1 1 RAM 4 selected, like that. Okay, inputs to the decoder based upon the 8 9 bits, any of this RAM chip is selected. Clear? Now what about the ROM? How it will selected? Based upon the 10th line. See here 10th line is connected to some NOT gate. Okay, because to select this ROM, here it will be bar. CS2 pin is bar. If it is bar, okay, if I input 0 here, if it is bar, the ROM chip will be enabled in which condition? If CS2 is equal to 0, then automatically A bar indicate, if A is 0, A bar 1. Automatically if CS2 pin is 0, CS2 bar will make it is 1, then ROM bit will be selected. That means make this 10th pin as 1, then due to this NOT gate, it will become 0. If CS2 pin is 0, then ROM will be selected. That means based upon 8 9 bits, RAM is selected. Based upon the 10th bit, ROM is selected. Like this here mentioned. Clear? If 10th bit is 1, CS2 bar pin will active, then automatically ROM is selected. Now clear? Based upon 8 9 10, any of the RAM or ROM selected. What about this lower order line 7 6? These are the lines which are used to select particular data byte which is available in ROM 1 or else ROM. Among whatever the data available in these memory chips, to select that particular data byte, we use this lower order data lines. Here the lower order lines are used to select particular data byte available in these chips. Clear all of you? That's why 7 to 1 is connected to all the pins. Okay, read write pins are also connected to all the pins. Okay, I hope it will be clear. What is this diagram? How these chips are connected to the CPU, how these memory chips are activated, and how we are going to perform read write operation. Okay, clear? That was the memory connection with the CPU. Here the title, memory connection to the CPU. Okay, now this was the, till now we discussed about what about main memory. Now coming to the cache memory. Cache memory is one of the fastest memory which is directly connected to the CPU through this main memory. Cache memory is placed between CPU as well as main memory. The cache is the fastest component in the memory hierarchy. You know that. The basic idea of cache organization, why we are going to this cache is to keep the, to store the frequently used data. Okay, if you know the concept of local, okay, if I say one example, ma, in which centers you opted to write the final exams, which college is nearer to your places, that means which college is near local to your place, you opted that colleges to write the exams because it is nearer to you. You are flexible to write the exams in that college, okay, because that is local to you. If I instructed to write the exam in Hitam college, okay, because that is far away from your village, then you face lot of problems to come to here and to write the exam. Clear? If in the same way, if data is nearer to you, whatever the data is near to you locally, locality reference property is there, large fraction of memory requests will found. And if any time if I want to access the data, please frequently, the most important data which is frequently accessed, the data is more important, I am using this data more and more times, please store the data in the cache. That is called a locality reference. Locality of reference, locality of the reference is nothing but if I place it the, if I place it the data which is more frequently used as local to the CPU, as local to the CPU, data is local to the CPU, then it is very easy to access. That is called locality of reference. Which data you are going to place in that CPU, which data you are going to place at local, the more frequently used data, the more frequently used data you are going to use, store in the cache. That was the basic idea of cache. Coming to the operation of cache, how can you access the cache? CPU, when CPU is wants to access the memory, the cache is examined first. If the data, if I want to access some data which is available in the cache, okay, if the data is available, then read the data. If data is not available, please go for please go to the main memory because the data is available in the main memory. Cache, what is the data available in the cache? More important frequent data is only available in the cache. If suppose CPU access the memory, that means examine the cache first. Okay, cache first examine. If the data is available in the cache, automatically data is read. If the data is available, is not available in the cache, it will go for the main memory. Okay, then in that main memory it will access the data, and in the next cycle, the processor will write the data to the cache because it is not available in the cache memory. If suppose whatever the data accessed by the CPU is not available in the cache, then please transfer the data from the main memory into the cache. That was the next operation. Clear all of you? Three operations: examine the cache, if data is available, read the cache. If data is not available, go for the main memory, access the main memory, take the data, and automatically in the third cycle, the data will be transferred to the cache. Okay. Coming to the hit ratio. This was the hit ratio. What is meant by hit? If target is there, I will hit. If data is available, I can call this as hit. If you access the memory, if word is present in the cache, then it is called hit. If word is not present in the cache, then it is called miss. Hit is called data is available. Miss is called data is not available. Then coming to the hit ratio, the ratio of the hits, number of hits divided by the ratio of hits plus minus. Minus is nothing but misses. Hit ratio is nothing but the ratio of a number of hits divided by number of hits plus number of misses. That was the hit ratio. Okay. Now coming to the cache memory mapping. What is meant by mapping? Here what I said, please transfer the data available in the main memory to the cache directly. To transfer the data from main memory to the cache memory, that process is called as mapping. Okay, the transformation of data from main memory to the cache memory is called mapping. So coming to do the mapping of the data, to transfer the data, we are having three types, which is associative mapping, direct mapping, set associative mapping. First, we will discuss the associative mapping. Associative mapping is nothing but we'll store the address and data side by side like this. Clear? Associative mapping is nothing but address data. Here I am assuming that CPU address is 15 bits. That 15 bits address is we placed in the argument register. By using the argument register, this is additional register to access the data present in the cache. Here 15 bits will placed in the argument by using the address reference, and that address is accessed the reference address to access the data present in the cache. Okay, this is the address data. Like this, we will save the address and data in the cache memory. Okay, mapping is nothing but storing the data in the cache by using some special addresses like this. Here we use the octal format to store the data as well as address. Okay, it permits any location in cache to store any word from the main memory. The address value of 15 bits, which will be 5-digit octal number, corresponding 12-bit word, which is 4-digit octal number. Here the address lines are 15, data lines are 12, data bit length is 12, and by storing to store this address as well as register, we use 12 bits. Clear? Associative mapping, simply we can store the data by using octal format. 15 bits address, data is 12 bits. By using this argument register, we access the cache. Clear? Here I mentioned a CPU address of 15 bits is placed into the argument register. Associative memory is searched for a matching address. Okay. If the address is found, the corresponding 12-bit data is read and sent to the CPU. If no match occurs, the main memory is accessed for the word. Same operation, whatever I discussed here. If CPU wants to access the cache, please access the cache, data is available, read the data. Otherwise, go for the main memory and write to the cache memory with the respective data. Here also same process, access the cache, data is available, hit, otherwise miss takes place. Please rewrite the cache memory with the data which is not available in that particular location. Okay, particular cycle. Now coming to the direct mapping. One more type is direct mapping. Direct mapping is nothing but here in the associative mapping, we are using the registers. Here whatever the data I use here, argument registers. We are going for additional registers. Those are the additional registers are nothing but they are consuming high cost. I already said that in the memory hierarchy, if additional registers are there, then register will consume more cost. So that's why here in the direct mapping, I want to use directly random access memory to store the data. In the direct mapping, we use the random access memory to store to access a memory which is used to cache, which is used to store in the cache. Okay. In the associative mapping, we use the additional registers which are consuming more cost. So that's why I'm shifting from as registers to the RAM here. Associative mapping is expensive. Okay, so that's why I'm going to make cache memory in the direct mapping by using directly RAM. Okay, but now what is I am using is here I am saving the data by using two fields. What are those fields? Are tag field and index field. Tag field and index field. What is meant by tag field? Tag field is indicating the tag. If tags are there, why you are going to use tags? If one file is there, please place some tags. That tag is used to indicate to fetch the data easily. Please place some tag. If suppose ECE, CSE, EEE, mechanical, please place tag ECE for the ECE data. place tag for the CSC data. That means to access the data belong to different branches, you place tag. Here also to access the data, use different tags. I'll say one example, then it will be clear for you. This was the structure of index as well as this is the main memory, this is the cache memory. Okay, here index address tag, both are used to access the data. Okay, here also 5 bits, here also 5 bits. Memory address is 5 bits, cache address is also 5 bits. What was the procedure I want to carry out is clear. When CPU wants to access the data which is at 0 to 000 address, CPU wants to access the data which is at 0 to 000. Here the first 2 bits indicates tag, next 3 bits indicates address. Okay, now it will go and access the cache. It will go and access the cache. If you see this cache, what is the index here? 000. 000. What is the tag here? 02. But what happened is here, what is the tag? 02. Okay. 000 tag is 00. But here, whatever the tag is 02. The tag is not matched with the index. Whenever CPU is accessing the data present in the cache, it is going to match the tag with the index. If the tag value of the main memory, if the tag value of the main memory is matched with the cache memory tag, then only it will hit. Then only it will hit. Otherwise, it will not hit. Okay. Here, main memory tag is 02, but the cache memory tag is 00. That means there will be a miss takes place. 02 is not equal to 00. So that's why not a hit. It will called as miss because tag is not matched here. What is the tag here? 00. But main memory tag is 02. Main memory, cache memory, both are having index and tags. When you are accessing the data, that will match the cache tag. Here cache tag is matched, cache tag is not matched, so that's why there will be a hit occur. So now it will go to access main memory. Here 0 to 000 is having the data 5670. After taking the data at this place, 1220 is available. Now this 1220 will replaced by 5670. Clear? చూడండమ్మా ఇక్కడ ఏముంది in the previous place at the place of tag 1220 is available. Now at the present case 5670 will be replaced. That was the operation of the direct mapping. Clear? Next we will move to the associative set associative mapping. What is meant by set associative mapping is in the direct mapping, two words which are having this in the direct mapping, we are getting the disadvantage. Here tag values are not matched, different, so many number of misses are arising. So to avoid that disadvantage, we are going for set associative mapping. In the set associative mapping, what is the disadvantage is here index values are same but tag values are different. So that's why we are moving to the set associative mapping. In that set associative mapping, what is the improvement we are going to make is each word of each store cache, two different, see here, yes, here index values are different, tag values are different. Like this, with the same index values, we are going to store the data at a different tag values. That means we are maintaining the different tag values for the same index values. Here if you see, if the main memory is having index 000, 02 is the tag. Coming to the cache, index is 000, tag is 00. That means different are available. If with the same index, here if I place 02, if I save the data, then that will be easy. Set associative is nothing but having the same index but different tag values. Okay, we can store the data which are having same index but with different tag values in the cache. Okay, that is the set associative mapping. Different sets which are having same index. That was about cache memory, main memory. Okay, I hope someone send the screenshots to the Kondal sir. He will take the attendance.